I don't think we'll go past an hour and a half, but I'm estimating an hour. So what will you learn today? We're going to talk about the connection between ascension and the current state of the world. What's happening in this world, what's been going on, and the apparent madness, right? And also the good things. We're going to talk about disclosure. What is disclosure? What does that mean? And how is it connected to what is happening in the world and to ascension? We're going to talk about the assistance we are receiving from within the earth and from outer space, the higher dimensions, because a lot of people, beings, entities are working towards the ascension of earth and humanity. There's a large group of highly evolved conscious beings from this solar system and beyond who want to see the new earth, the new era of love, peace. And I don't want to sound too new agey, but yeah, I mean, sometimes it is what it is, right? And how to embody the frequency of peace. And I just want to be completely clear. My main intent is to focus on peace. Even though we're going to touch on certain topics like war, etc., my intent is so that you know what is happening behind the scenes so that this information can empower you, you can remain centered and not get caught up and dragged with the drama. Instead, you can remain being a pillar of light. All right? So let's begin. Let's first talk about stellar activations and what that means. Well, this year represents a very important year for Earth in terms of stellar activations and frequency infusions. Stellar activations are activations from constellations, from different star systems that affect our own solar system. And frequency infusions basically means that the Earth periodically it's receiving these infusion of higher dimensional vibrations that have a profound effect on Earth itself and all sentient beings that inhabit Earth. Since the year 2000, the Earth has entered an ascension cycle. And this is something that used to happen naturally. It was a cycle that would take place every 25,556 years. However, due to blockages on the Earth's grids, this specific ascension cycle hasn't occurred in over 200,000 years. And only few people have been able to ascend. This is why most of humanity has been caught up in reincarnation cycles. Too many of them. And only a few beings every century, every decade have been able to ascend beyond the fourth, fifth dimension. Because there's always a way to ascend. Don't believe anyone who tells you that you might go to a place or be in a state where you won't be able to ascend. That's a ton of BS. There's always a way. Now, there are easier ways, more natural ways. And within these ascension cycles, humanity and all sentient beings within that planet, in this case Earth, would experience a massive ascension. Okay, so it wouldn't be just a few individuals, but the entire race as a whole. This hasn't happened in quite a while. Now let's talk a little bit more about frequency infusions. There are certain years where the Earth is programmed to receive higher dimensional frequency infusions. And since we entered this ascension cycle in the year 2000, since then, progressively, the Earth has been receiving 12-dimensional frequencies and other dimensional frequencies. And by progressively, I mean that it keeps getting stronger and stronger. And this is not a random thing. So some years have more of a kick, you might say, when it comes to frequency infusion. Now, if you think about it, this is not a random thing. Our solar system is moving at more than 70,000 kilometers per hour through space. What that means is that our soul, all the planets are traveling through space like a vortex. And as you travel through space, you're going to encounter different environments, different space frequencies. And this will affect Earth, right? It's like if you take a walk or if you travel around the world, you're going to encounter different space, time, locations that are going to have a different feel to you. It's the same with our solar system. Now, the intent of these frequency infusions is that the planet and its people accrete these frequencies for field expansion. Right? The universe is always expanding and contracting. We're constantly in a process of involution, coming from source oneness into manifestation, and then evolution, coming from that state, apparent state of separation back to oneness. So this is just how things occur, and you can see it in the micro scale and the macro scale. And we're no different. The planet and sentient beings who are here manifested must go through that process of evolution, going up the dimensional scale, back to source, to oneness. So here you can see a graph that represents your 15-dimensional anatomy within this time matrix. And I just want to point out a couple of things so that you can get a visual of where you come from and where you're going to. So if you see here, you have yourself, and then you have all the frequency bands of your auric field. If you notice 1 through 7, those are the colors of your chakras. Right? The frequency bands connected to your chakra, and each one is connected to a dimension, a level of mind and consciousness. Now, here's the thing. Currently, most of humanity is locked in a frequency fence where they can mainly experience dimensions 1, 2, and 3, which translate as your physical body, your emotional body, and the mental body, which all together make up what is known as your ego or your incarnate self. A very important part of who you are, but it's not the totality of who you are. But once we get to the 4th dimension, the 4th chakra, that's where we start tapping into the levels of consciousness of your higher self. So your higher self is basically you from dimensions 4 and up. It's that simple. Now your heart chakra in the 4th dimension corresponds to the astral mind. The throat chakra corresponds to the archetypal mind. The third eye chakra to the angelic mind. And they all make up together your soul identity, your superconscious mind. And so you continue up, dimension 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. You go to the oversoul, to the avatar, the Rishi, and then you go to source, the void, unmanifested matter. So this is the process of evolution, going from the 1st dimensions of where everything is dense, solid, separate, and getting lighter and lighter, more etheric, until you become basically liquid light. All right? So this is what we're going through as humans. We are going back to source, and this is a step process. Now, when we get frequency infusions, I'm going to go back to the graph. When we get frequency infusions, we're basically getting frequency infusions from the higher realms into our lower frequency bands, the lower chakras, lower DNA strands. And what that does is that it allows those frequency bands to expand, to change their particle pulsation rhythm. As you expand, you become lighter, you can include more space within your consciousness, and you start vibrating the particles of your auric field, your chakras, and your DNA. Start vibrating and resonating with the next higher frequency bands. And so those frequency bands from dimensions 1, 2, and 3 begin to merge with dimensions 4, 5, and 6. And you get to embody that. And this is basically the process of ascension. Now, that being said, for this expansion, accretion to happen, you have to be clear. Otherwise, if you have energetic blockages in your field, like soul fragments, karmic imprints, implants, etc., that can cause molecular compaction. So what does that mean? Well, imagine those higher frequencies coming up, coming down from the higher realms, entering your crown chakra, and then spiraling down through your bioenergetic system. If there are no blockages, then they can flow harmoniously. You can integrate them. You can process them. But if there are some energetic blockages, then those higher frequencies can push down on those blockages and cause all sorts of distortions. Now, here is how this connects to what is happening in the world. Most people on Earth, they haven't done any type of energy work on themselves. They're constantly creating karma, drinking alcohol, taking drugs, eating junk food, not dedicating any time to meditation, inner work, healing. And so their field is very dense, and they cannot process and accrete these frequencies. But when these frequency infusions come, and all those blockages from this and previous lifetimes that they have start getting pushed and triggered, people start acting really bizarre. And so the apparent madness that you see in the world sometimes, and most of the times, is due to people not being able to process this. Now, this is some sort of a rebirth also, because the outdated systems, the beliefs, the attitudes, the structures, governments, etc., that don't resonate with these higher vibrations will begin to collapse. And you're going to see, sometimes when you're working on yourself, you go through some uncomfortable stages where at first you think like you're going mad, but once you break through, once you have that transcendence, you're like, whoa, I feel much lighter. Has anyone here experienced that? Where you were working on yourself, doing some healing, some energy work, maybe through a workshop or reading a book or just meditating or constantly working on yourself. And at times you felt like, oh my God, this is getting too intense. But then you look back and you can't even recognize yourself. So a lot of yeses, right now. Well, this is happening to the world right now. Now, most people don't have the tools and resources that you and I have. So to them, it might get even more intense. This is why it's so important. It is vital to work on yourself, to center yourself so that you can take full advantage of these frequency infusions and remain in a state of equanimity, coherence, harmony when the world appears to be getting crazier and crazier. And you can see the beauty in that. You can see that it's all part of the game of consciousness. Now, let's talk about a big topic, which is World War III. Now, this is something that many governments are trying to desperately get into. The US is the key player in this. And many people get freaked out about this, but I got great news about all this thing. But let's talk about it. The US is trying to start World War III by mainly triggering China and Russia. As you may know, Syria and Iran are allies of Russia, and the US is trying to get into a war with Syria and Iran. And they're doing all kinds of things to do this. And I'm not going to get into the minute details about this because this is not really the focus of this webinar. And they're also trying to get into a quarrel with China by going into the South China Sea and going into North Korea, which is an ally of China. Now, they've been trying to do this for decades, and they have been unsuccessful. Now, many people get triggered by this. They freak out because when they think about this World War III, they think about nuclear war. Now, here's where I have some good news for you. They have tried to start nuclear wars before, and they haven't been successful. Why? Because advanced extraterrestrial beings that are aligned with the ascension principle have been stopping all their desperate attempts. And there's even video evidence of missiles being launched, and then there are some UFOs, lights, interacting with that missile and shutting it down. And there are even testimonials of military personnel who witnessed this and saying, we just don't know what happened. So it's very, very unlikely that they will be successful in launching a nuclear war. It's just, we are being guarded. We're being assisted, right? But they will try everything. What are the reasons? Why do they want to do this? Well, basically, they want to stop the ascension process. Some beings, they're very ignorant. They think they're better than other races, or they're basically caught up in the mind game of power and control. And they've been doing some experiments with Earth and its people. And the things they've done are they're out of a movie. And so one of the reasons that they want to start all this massive chaos and wars is because they want to stop a massive disclosure. So disclosure, it's being planned by people here on Earth and the advanced beings from higher dimensions to basically disclose all the things that humanity has been kept from. And what I mean by this is the existence of extraterrestrial life, advanced technologies for free energy, healing, how they've kept us in this craziness of limited, the consciousness of thinking we have limited resources, the outdated money system, all those things. But they don't want this information to come out because, well, everything's going to change for them. But this is inevitable, right? Now, only very few people in the government know about this agenda. Right? Trump has no idea about this. But he's been seduced by this ego mind games of power and greed, and the people at the top, they convince their puppets through these games. And so the reason for many governments to engage and follow this nonsense is just money, power, control. All right, I'm back. Let me know if you can hear me. All right, looks like everyone has some audio, and yes, we're back. So, I don't know, it's strange. I've used this technology so many times, and for some reason, there's some interference. I wonder why. This is the type of information that, yeah, they don't want you to know about. But anyway, we're back, so let's get on with this. Yep. All right. So thank you for your patience and for hanging out with me. So as I was saying, we are being assisted. Now, these higher vibrational beings, they are so aligned with source will that they don't want to interfere with other beings' free will. And this is very important for two reasons. Many people think, well, if we're being assisted, why they just don't stop it and show up and change everything? It doesn't work like that. Once you have that level of consciousness, there's a certain way where you can play this out without interfering with other people's free will. And the second thing is that they're not here to rescue us. They're here to help us and assist us. But we must do the work. We must align ourselves with these frequencies. Open up. And then you can receive that assistance, that help, and that support. But it must come from within, and you have to do the work. They're not going to do the work for you. They're not going to, clear your karmic slate, heal your childhood traumas. They can help you with that, but they're not going to do it for you. So this is why people like me, like you, we're here for a reason. You've incarnated here for a reason. To help others do the work right here. Many of you are indigos, wanderers, and or light workers who choose to incarnate in these very crucial times to assist in the ascension process. Your collective mission is to get as clear as possible in order to prepare your body and auric field for the accretion of these higher frequencies, so that you can become the frequency holders and pillars of light. And let me tell you, it takes some deep level of bravery to choose to come here and incarnate during these times. It's a wonderful opportunity, but you have to be very courageous. It's easy, I gotta say, for many higher vibrational beings to assist from above without being here, getting dirty. But here's another crazy thought. You're here and there at the same time. So I'll let you think about that for a moment. Anyway, I know most of you feel this strong calling to fulfill your soul's purpose. You feel like you have a mission and that it's much bigger than who you are. Now, that being said, I know many of you want to help as many people as you want. But the best way to do that is to get as clear as possible, to heal yourself first. It's like when you are on an airplane and the pressure goes off, the mask goes down, they tell you have to put on your mask before you help other people. It's the same thing. Healed people heal people. People who are in pain hurt others. So when you become as clear as possible, you embody a state of peace, love, harmony. That's when you can transmit that to others. Just by your mere presence and actively, you can become a facilitator. So, right now, I want to create a space with all of you so that we can clear those implants, distortions, and blockages that are preventing you from embodying a state of peace. And we're going to use this code that you see on the screen to do that. So right now I'm slowing down my inner rhythm. I know sometimes in my presentations I can become very excited, very passionate, but now we're going to step it down and we're going to place the intent. I'm inviting all of you to place the intent to connect to your higher self, to the source within you. And invoke the frequency of love. I am connecting to my higher self, and I am connecting to the higher self of each person here. Anyone and everyone who is listening and watching this webinar. I salute you all from my avatar self to your avatar self. And in the name of divine love, it is my intent to assist you in clearing all the highest priority energetic blockages, implants, and distortions that may be preventing you from embodying a state of peace in the best way possible for yourself and in line with your higher self. So with that, we set the intent for the session. Please focus on the center of this code, and with your intent, inhale the code into your third eye. And now visualize the code on all your chakras. And surrender to your higher self. Remember, your higher self is the one that will actually perform the clearing. I'm only a facilitator. It is commanded in the name of divine love and in unison with the one source within you and within all, that the peace, field, integrity, restoration, implants removal, harmonic resonance code be used to activate for each person here their pineal gland, pituitary gland, hypothalamus, medulla oblongata, 15 chakras and DNA template to their highest frequency holding potential and original divine function, clearing and transmuting all energetic blockages, implants, karmic imprints, soul fragments that are preventing you from embodying a state of peace on all levels of your multidimensional anatomy and awareness in the best way possible for yourself and in line with your higher self now. Ta Asian Tadoi. And just relax. Let your higher self and the code do the work. The frequency of this code will transmute any lower vibratory blockage that resonates with fear, chaos, confusion, creating space within you so that you may receive new chords, new templates, and new soul programming from your higher self in the best ways to cultivate and practice inner peace, personal power, love, accountability. Now imagine the violet flame in the shape of a three-dimensional teardrop that is large enough to envelop your entire physical body and your auric field. And see yourself inside this violet flame. See the violet flame transmuting every single particle of your being, speeding the transmutation process of the blockages we're clearing right now. Beautiful. Now that we've cleared those blockages, some of you will feel that in different ways, sensations throughout your body, your chakras. Now we're going to go deeper to the next step to activate the frequencies of peace. Please focus on the center of this code, and with your intent, inhale the code into your third eye. Now I want you to imagine this code expanding in all directions, holographically, until you are completely enveloped by this code. You are within the code, inside the code, and the code is surrounding you. But every single particle of your physical body, your energetic body, is immersed within this code. Now, the center of this code, this white light, let your intuition guide you, and let that point of white light allocate itself in the area of your field, of your body, where the frequency of peace is most needed. It could be in the middle of your head, the middle of your heart, anywhere you feel intuitively guided to. And it is commanded in the name of divine love that the peace At-One-Ment activation harmonic resonance code be used to activate your pineal gland, pituitary gland, hypothalamus, medulla oblongata, 15 chakras, DNA template, and every particle of your being to its highest frequency holding potential an original divine function for the embodiment of the frequency of peace. Now, ta Asian the door. And now close your eyes and imagine that from that white point of light, a beam of light, a string, shoots upward into outer space and through the other side, downward out your feet into the center of the earth. And you're going to see this white string of light connecting you to the center of the earth and outer space where your 15th chakra is located. The highest chakra belonging to the Rishi self. Now imagine the DNA spinning counterclockwise at the core of your physical form, your Tantian point or your Hara point, which is 2 fingers below your navel. You're going to see the DNA template spinning counterclockwise. And just relax and let your higher self do this. Be guided by my voice. And as the DNA spins counterclockwise, discordant magnetic fields and energies, vibrations, distractions come out of your field. And now you begin to feel pulsations of energy, waves of energy coming from the center of the earth and outer space from your 15th chakra, your Rishi self, going through that string and meeting at your Hara center, charging your DNA. And as this happens, your DNA begins to change its rotation. Now begins to spin clockwise, very slowly. Magnetic energies coming from the earth, electric energies coming from your Rishi self, with the frequencies of love, ascension, peace, harmony, alchemy. And now this string of white light begins to expand in all directions. Now your entire body begins to be filled with this white light and all the frequencies I've mentioned. Frequencies of wisdom, clarity, intuition, unity consciousness. And as each cell within your body, every particle of your auric field bathes in these frequencies, it begins to expand beyond your physical body. And now it expands to envelop the entire room you're in. Also going down into the earth and out into outer space. It continues to expand, now enveloping your entire neighborhood and all the people within it, your entire city. And we have hundreds of people from all around the world. So light is shooting in every direction. Now your entire country, continent, until the white light expands to cover the entire earth. And you see these frequencies bathing our entire planet, all sentient beings. And now, from this witness perspective, you notice that surrounding the earth, there is a gathering of other highly evolved beings. Some in their form of their body, others as stars, planets, as they have so much consciousness that their light, it's gigantic. And you see these beings connected through a web of intent. And they focus their energy into the center of the earth. And now that white beam of light magnifies, gets more intense. And you start to feel and see new colors, vibrant colors, magenta, violet, green, blue. The frequencies of ascension. The earth's grids are nourished by these frequencies. And you rejoice in this co-creative process that is taking place, that you are part of. Give thanks for this opportunity. Bring your hands in the prayer position and place them in front of your third eye. And now in front of your heart chakra. And when you do this, you're creating a drawing antenna. And now you're taking in all that light back into your field. And carrying with you always. Wherever you go, wherever you are, you're constantly emanating this light, these frequencies. They're part of your cells, of your DNA. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Take a moment to come back. Feel your body present here. Feel your body being supported by the ground, the chair you're sitting on. Notice your breath. And I want you to feel free, if you want to, share your experience on the text chat. I've made the comments public. If you have some water with you, make sure you take a sip of water. Water helps integrate the energy. So we're going to read some of your comments. Nicole says, awesome, amazing. Razvan says, almost fell asleep. My head was very light and calm. Beautiful. Amy says, everything is so vibrant. Rose, absolutely amazing. Juanita says, almost fell asleep. I felt like in a deep trance. Beautiful. Daniel says, very calming. Kent says, very peaceful. Leanne says, thank you so much. Kim says, I felt a change. Now I have to scroll because the comments keep coming in. Trudy says, love to everyone here and all. Becky says, awesome, capital letters. Gina says, very powerful. Feeling came over me, calm, peaceful. I send the energy to my twin too. Beautiful. Ivan says, very sleepy. Jennifer, really beautiful experience. I was crying tears of joy and release. Tanaha or Tanaja, hope I'm pronouncing that right. Tingling all over, beautiful. Jocelyn, I feel sparkly. Seeing shimmers, nice. Patrice says, beautiful, light and clear. Kathy, beautiful. Thank you for your gift. Tammy says, the main colors I saw were green, yellow, and purple. Excellent. Dubravka says, beautiful. I felt so much love and gratitude. Felt energy up my spine. Rachel says, very intense. Yeah, it was very intense for me too. Zoe, I feel very relaxed. Thank you. Raul says, colors are brighter. Penny says, this is right on time. Ian, very calming. I saw shapes moving when I closed my eyes. Jocelyn, knowing there was healing on the physical, felt it deeply. Thank you. Absolutely beautiful. And yeah, I can keep going on and reading. You can see the comments. Out of this world experience, says Gurjeet. Excellent. Feel like I filled the planet with love. You did, Amy. You did. We all did. And so that's the power of intent. And when we do this on our own, it's very powerful. But when we unite, it becomes even more powerful. You know, it's like that. I don't know if it was in the Bible or something. It says, when two gather in my name, then I'm there. So, yeah, the I am presence of all of you came shining through. My right eye started watering on the first code. All right, beautiful. So, Now I'm going to invite you to another free live webinar. Because actually, I wasn't planning on doing this webinar. I had another webinar planned for this week, and some things happened globally, energetically, and I just felt guided by my higher self in many ways to do this event. So I took action. I postponed my plans and I just went for it. But I'm going to still give the webinar I intended to give this week. I'm going to do it next week. And so it's a free live webinar on mastering your multidimensional consciousness through your 15 chakras. Most people know about the 7 main chakras. Well, you have 15. So in this webinar, you're going to learn how each chakra is connected to a level of your consciousness. And how you can start living from your higher chakras. Right? So we want to go beyond the first 3 chakras, which correspond to the ego. We want to go from the heart chakra and above. Still utilizing the lower chakras, but bringing them into alignment. And we're going to do another live activation, mainly focused on the chakras. So I think this will be a great opportunity. Lots of cool information, not your typical information about chakras, which is very basic and you can find anywhere on the internet. We're going to dive deep. All right. Jocelyn says codes became alive. Yes, they are alive. They're entities of consciousness and they interact with your energy. Lillian says, with the DNA was very special. Yes, the DNA is absolutely important. Okay. So everything's connected. That's why I work through the chakras, because they're connected to your DNA to a level of consciousness. So you got a taste of that in today's activation. All right. So make sure you take advantage of that opportunity. To somewhere on your screen, you're going to see the invitation to register for that webinar. Now it's time for your questions. Let me know if you have any questions of what we covered today. If you have any questions about the upcoming webinar, if you have any questions related to your higher self, consciousness, etc. So I'm going to answer a couple of your questions. And then we're going to end for today. Like I said, it was going to be a short, sweet webinar. Most of my webinars go for 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours. But this one, like I said, was not planned. I just followed my intuition, created the codes, designed the presentation, and, well, it is what you experienced. All right, so Rasvan says, is World War III going to happen? If so, do you know when? I don't think it's going to happen. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to the future, the future is not set in stone. They're probable futures. So what we do as a collective can change the timeline, because your frequency, your intent is what determines what type of future you will resonate with. That is why we did what we did today. This activations, this visualization was so that we can raise our frequency and the frequency of the planet to tune into that brilliant timeline. Now, what will happen? I cannot tell. It would be foolish of me to tell you exactly what will happen. That's why I always deviate from, going into predicting the future and going into that psychic role. No, I'm about the present moment. What you can do now. What can you embody now? Here's the question. When will war occur within you? Is it occurring now? When will peace be within you? You're the one who chooses that. In order to create world peace, we must start with inner peace. If you embody a state of inner peace, there's no war. That's the key. But that's what they don't want you to know. So if you want to stop war, you stop war within you. You bring about peace within you. All right, so let me just read another of your questions. I will be posting this webinar on my website, so make sure you're registered to my newsletter and you'll get the replay. All right, I'm just scrolling through your questions. Some of them are personal. Just make sure, like, I'm not going to do a type of reading or assessment right now. So, do you offer sessions on discovering your soul self? Well, that's kind of the work I do, because DNA activation, the main intent is for you to embody your higher self, to remove the blockages that are preventing you from embodying your higher self, and then activating the dormant strands of DNA that help you tap into your higher self so that you can discover your soul, your mission on your own. I'm a facilitator. I can help you get there, but I don't do that for people. I don't tell this is what you need to do, etc. Rather, I focus on self-empowerment so that you discover this. You tap into that awareness within you. Yes, they will be a recording, Jocelyn. So I'll be sending that through email. How to clear more and more blockages. There are many, many ways to do that. Throughout my journey, I tried many healing modalities. Some were successful, other more than others. And so I combined many of those healing modalities into sort of what you experience today. I work with the higher self, and I use these codes and the higher self connection and the vibration of these codes and sacred geometry to transmute those blockages. So that's just one way, and I help people do this through private sessions. I have memberships where they can watch pre-recorded sessions and experience this frequency. All right, Gaia 3. Oh yeah, I know who you are. I'm happy that I could attend this webinar. I am from India, now in Brisbane, Australia. Beautiful. Glad you could make it too. All right, how do I know I am connected to my higher self? Well, I have a video on YouTube where you can feel the connection instead of knowing. Usually, knowing it's mainly a mind thing. I prefer to feel, to sense if I'm connected to my higher self. But to be very simple, to give you a simple answer is your intent is really powerful. As soon as you intend to connect to your higher self, you're connected. But yeah, sometimes we doubt or we second guess ourselves, and then that's where we disconnect from the sensation, from the body, from the experience. No, Trudy, this won't be available for download. It will be on my website, and you can watch it as many times on my website. Why do most people find it so difficult to connect to higher frequencies without the help from others? Well, because, like I said, There are some distortions in the Earth's grids, and for over 200,000 years, we've been stuck in a frequency fence. And so people have been incarnating and only accessing their three-dimensional self. In ancient times, you would tap into your soul, your oversoul, naturally, organically. And so now we're playing the game of consciousness of, starting with other people and learning from others so that we can tap into this inner power. Some people do it spontaneously. They have awakenings. If that's your case, great. But I've certainly learned from many teachers. I'm really grateful for each and every one of them. And the best ones were the ones who taught me how to awaken the teacher within me and not depend on other people. So it's just a game of consciousness we're playing right now. Nothing bad with that. Let's see. Okay, I know missions I'm pulled to do, but need help understanding higher self. Well, here's the thing. Understanding, once again, is a thing of the mind. Understanding, sometimes it's necessary, and when it is, it will come to you, but it's not needed. Many people think that they need understanding for healing to fulfill the soul's purpose. Not really. When you let go of the need to understand, you will open up to so much more. You see, your rational mind, which is where understanding comes from, it's only one level of consciousness. There's intuition, there's your heart intelligence, there are so many ways. I am using reading energy signatures to connect with my higher self. I do this every day and rely 100% of these answers. Is it possible to overdo this process? I don't think so. I mean, people rely on their rational mind to make all their decisions. You can rely on your higher self just as well. And in my opinion, is better. For me, at one point, you can even let go of reading energy signatures, because once you start embodying your higher self and tapping into your heart's intelligence, your intuition, then it's kind of, you don't need to read energy signatures. It's just, you read them, but differently. You get a download from your higher self. You know what to do. It's like a visceral experience, a sensation, or a knowingness that goes beyond the rational mind. Can the sacramental use of marijuana enhance this connection, or does it impede it? In my own opinion, marijuana is a medicine. However, the method of delivery greatly affects the effects or the benefits of this medicine. When you smoke marijuana, the the carbonization process basically deteriorates the essence of the plant. So there are other ways to take this. And, there's the psychoactive, and there are other extracts and ways where it's non-psychoactive, and they're great for the body, the nervous system. We have an endocannabinoid system. So it can be a tool. Now, the thing with some of these tools, when used to connect to the higher self, is that it's like, there's a caveat, right? You might become dependent on them. It's like you could hang out with your higher self, but you can't embody the higher self. It might give you a glimpse of what the higher self is, but then every time you get high, you must come back down. That's why, I work with my higher self directly. Through DNA activation, you activate and you can get into that state of consciousness without that medium, be it marijuana, ayahuasca, DMT, etc. They have their use, their purpose, but eventually, in my opinion, it's best to transcend them. I felt a shift this week. How do I know what to do to act on when it happens? And what does the shift mean? A very vague question. I mean, that's something very personal. I just don't know the details. And this is not the place for me to answer that kind of thing. In my private sessions, if someone tells me what happened, then I can guide them. I cannot tell them exactly what that means because those types of experiences are very personal. So I never want to take away the powerful moment of realization. So I can assist and guide, but never do it for you or answer it for you. The past few days I've experienced, this is from Nicole, another question. The past few days I've experienced a lot of negative energy and feeling unusually non-loving, impatient, and out of sorts. What are the energies and frequencies that made some of us feel this way related to equinox? What happened? So, here's the thing. Once again, the mind looks to understand. Why did I feel that way? Where did it come from? And I play that game, and usually it's like a dead end. So here's my suggestion. Those feelings, doesn't matter where they come from. The important thing is that you're feeling that. So those feelings can serve as an entry point. And if you allow those feelings to be processed through the body, through a state of wonder and acceptance, then those feelings can lead to a state of expansion. But we've been taught to suppress feelings, to resist feelings. We think, I shouldn't feel this negativity, shouldn't feel sad. And then that creates more resistance. It magnifies the feeling. But if we allow that feeling to be felt, to be sensed by our body's intelligence, then it will lead us to greater expansion and discovery. So that's my suggestion. You can also use codes. I teach people how to use some of these codes to clear arc attachments and karmic imprints so that you can clear the source of these imprints. You don't have to know where they came from. Many of these blockages come from past lifetimes where your conscious mind wasn't involved. All right. Do you know how the mass disclosure will be presented? This year, it might happen. I don't know. I stay present to the present moment. I know that's something that it's in the works, but I mean, so many beings involved. I wouldn't dare to say this is when will it happen. When it happens, it happens. It is what it is. All right. Are you out of Portland, Oregon? Yes, I am. I moved out of Portland, Oregon in 2014. Beautiful place. Love it. I want to go back. What is your website link? All right. So you can reach me at www.ascendedrelationships.com. That is my main website. All right, so I'm just going to answer a couple of questions more, and we're going to be done for today. We're getting close to the 90-minute mark. I'm very glad to hear that, Allison. She says, I feel very much in my heart center. I'm feeling blissfully full. This was great. Thank you. You're welcome. What are your thoughts on chakra removal? Well, my thoughts on removing blockages from the chakras is great. Removing the chakra itself, I definitely would not recommend that. But yeah, clearing blockages from the chakras is a wonderful thing. Okay. So how can I take the first step towards healing others? Any advice? The first step is heal yourself. There are many, many tools and modalities out there. Choose the one you resonate with. I teach other people how to heal themselves. If you resonate with my modality, then I would love to teach you. But yeah, choose a teacher that you resonate with and just apply that to yourself. Heal yourself first, because that will give you the wisdom to then better help other people. Why? Because you will know what they are going through. You see, the things you've gone through, the pain, the suffering, the drama, all those things are lessons, are nuggets of wisdom. So, for example, my main niche and what I specialize is in relationships. Why? Because I struggled